Hi everyone, welcome back to Football Family Feuds. So today Chelsea have had Christmas come early in the form of Cass. Cass have said to Chelsea that their 2-window ban has now been reduced to one, the one we're currently serving. So that means that we are now free to go into the transfer market. Right, so is this a good idea, or do people think that we're doing just well without the transfer ban? In my opinion, I think it is a good idea, providing that the club buy smartly. In the past, we have been criticised for our purchases because a lot of times under previous managers, we have just been getting squad fillers, people who don't improve the team, who were just there sitting on the bench. And a lot of times as well, it was for the fact that we needed to improve our homegrown quota. So we were buying the likes of Drinkwater, who hardly ever played for us. Also, we had other players like Bakayoko, who didn't improve the side. Giroud came on the request of Antonio Conte as a target man, but he was always going to be a bench player. So really, we got these players in who didn't really improve the actual team. And because of that, we've seen our team slowly regress and are no longer in the running when it comes to winning the Premier League. Still around the top 4 mark, but you know, Chelsea are a club who should be challenging season in, season out for that big trophy. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the areas that we need to improve on to make us better. So I said, let's get class quality players. If they're not available in January, let's wait until the summer. Let's not just go and buy players for buying's sake. So the areas that we need to improve on, definitely left back role. Frank Lampard has quite clearly said that he doesn't want Alonso in his side anymore, and he's not been included in the last 3 or 4 match team squads, so I can see him moving on in January. So if we can get a decent left back to replace him, then let's go for it. Obviously, the player that we want is Ben Chilwell, but Ben Chilwell is going to be a difficult one to get through the door. I mentioned him before in one of my wrap-up videos. I'll put the link on above. So, but for me, it's difficult. It's a difficult one. So, what do? Do we stick with Alonso for the rest of the season and wait to see whether we can get Chilwell in, or do we get an alternative? And an alternative that I saw was Atal. Atal looks decent. He's quite versatile. He can play right back or left back. So he may be available at the moment because his club. Who's his club? They're not involved in the Champions League. Although I don't think that's relevant anymore because we no longer are having any cup tied. No one's going to be cup tied in the Champions League, so that can play a significant part as well because we don't have to look at players who've already played in the Champions League. Another area that I think needs improving is centre back. I know a lot of people will think, what are you talking about? Because we've already got like Christensen, Zuma, Tomori, we've got Rudiger to come back. But for me, all of these players are good. I'm not saying they're not good, but they've all got a few deficiencies in their game. For instance, Zuma, brilliant defender, strong tackler, but we all know that he's not comfortable in bringing the ball out of the back. Tomori is more comfortable at bringing the ball out from the back, but there's a height issue there as well when he plays. He's got speed, clean tackle, but we're conceding too many from set pieces for a reason, and that's because we haven't got a very tall side. So I think one man who can immediately improve us is Koulibaly. Koulibaly can be our Van Dijk, because obviously, as you saw with Liverpool, they were conceding way too many goals before Van Dijk and Alisson came, and that was the final jigsaw in their puzzle. So I think Koulibaly can be that jigsaw in our puzzle to complete that defence. You know, as I said, we've got some good centre-backs, but we're conceding a lot of goals, and we're doing that for a reason. And maybe as a collective, as a team, but also at the back, we need someone who's got leadership qualities. So Koulibaly for me ticks all those boxes. He's tall, so he's quite dominating in the air. He's fast, and he's a leader. He's comfortable bringing the ball out from the back as well. My only concern with him is he's not played in the Premier League, 27, so he may take some time to adjust, but other clubs probably be after him as well. But for me, he will be that statement signing for us at the back. There's lots of talk about Jadon Sancho coming to us as well. I mentioned him in my weekly wrap-up video this week. He's a good player, but again, he's another one who likes to play down the left-hand side. We've got Pulisic, who's doing really well, who likes to play off the left. We've got Hudson-Odoi, he can't even get in the team yet. He's more comfortable playing off the left. So we've got all of these are right-footed players. So although Sancho would be good, for me, he's still quite young as well. So we've got quite a relatively young team. Hudson-Odoi with a few more games, in my opinion, can get up to that Sancho level. So I like Ziyech. Obviously we weren't able to get him in January, but if we need to wait, we need to wait, because we need somebody who's left-footed, who can play as that inverted winger. There's also talk of Zaha. I don't think that's a bad shout as well, because for me, Zaha can play anywhere across the front line, and he's a match winner. He's got lots of experience as well, and he's carried Crystal Palace for the last 2 or 3 seasons. So that's not a bad shout for me, although a lot of people won't agree with this. Finally, I think another position that we need to improve is in the striker role, because as we've seen before, when Tammy Abraham isn't playing, the other two are either not up to it, or not trusted by Frank Lampard. So we'll need somebody to compete with Abraham. I'm looking at maybe Dembele, because Dembele at Lyon, he's somebody who's still relatively young as well, and they can rotate play. But another guy, a bit left field, but I think it will work, and that is Edinson Cavani. I know a lot of people are laughing now, but for me, Edinson Cavani, he'll be relatively cheap, because come the end of the season, he'll be a free transfer. And because we, as I keep mentioning, we've got a young side, Edinson Cavani will give us that much needed experience up front. Okay, the guy's 32, but he's still got 2 or 3 years ahead of him. So if we get 2 seasons out of him, another thing is, because of his age, he's not going to put Tammy under a lot of threat neither. So he can play as a 2, he can rotate with Abraham, but he's got that experience that we need, and he knows where the goal is. Yeah, so he's always been a stone cold killer when it comes to finishing, and I don't think he's lost any of that finishing prowess. He's got lots of experience, obviously playing for Napoli and playing for PSG, playing for Uruguay, so he's a big time player as well. So there are times this season where we've been lacking a bit of sharpness and cutting edge. So even when we're playing games, we can have Tammy wearing them out for the first 60 minutes, and if things aren't going our way, bring on Edinson Cavani against a tired defence, and he will definitely convert a lot of those chances that we are creating. So that's it for me, guys. I think the main positions for me are left back, centre back, and striker. Winger would be a nice to have, especially if we're going to get rid of, there's talk about us getting rid of Pedro and Willian. I can't see us getting rid of Pedro and Willian in this transfer window. Giroud's going to go, possibly Batshuayi, if we can get in someone like Zaha for a swap. So Batshuayi may be going. Alonso, as I said, no longer in Frank's plans, so he'll probably leave. So yeah, so to get up to that next level, those are the 3 areas I think we need to strengthen. We're quite strong in the middle of the park. Ruben Loftus-Cheek's yet to come back from injury. He will make us stronger. So I wouldn't probably invest in that area for now. I'll be looking at those 3 main positions to get to where we are, so to maintain our spot in the top 4. There may be in the next window we can then look at getting an X-Factor player who's going to bring us back to the top. So let me know what you think. Did you agree with my targets? I could have mentioned Werner as well. He's another decent striker. Whether RB Leipzig would let him go as they're still in the Champions League, so that would be a difficult one to get through the door in January. So yeah, if you agree with my ones, just comment below. If there's someone you think I've missed off, add their name in the comment section also. And yeah, so remember to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you on our next video.